first. Last year, as a Liverpool fan, we got PSG after winning pretty much all our games. So that will be the flip to it, maybe where it does get interesting.
Yeah, fair enough. OK, you've also been having your say on Kai Havertz and whether he's the key to getting the best out of Victor Gyökeres. Femi has sent us this.
I'm a big fan of Havertz. I've seen what he can do, and I think he's the ideal player to get the best out of Gyökeres. His momentum on the ball, what he gives us is so good. He's a throwback to a real number 10 who excites like a Bergkamp or an Ozil.
OK, Femi, thank you for that. And keep those voice notes coming in for the next half an hour or so. Right now, victory over Eintracht Frankfurt means Spurs finish 4th in the Champions League. So why are they good in Europe but struggling in the Premier League? Thomas Frank was impressed by his side's performance in Germany as they finished the group stage with a 2-0 win.
Yeah. You say the contest, everything. I think it was overall a good performance. I think it was actually, as you say, a quite complete performance. I think how we defended in high pressure, how we defended in low pressure, how we controlled on the ball and the chances we created, all that I think looked very good, yeah.
The same as for Liverpool, really, Darrow. You know, why the contrast in Europe and the Premier League, but also how happy are you for Thomas Frank?
Yeah, I love it. So I didn't want him to lose his job. Maybe it's to do with a lot of the Spurs players, you know, thrived last year in Europe, hence they end up winning a European trophy. Maybe it's the lack of pressure because you're not in the Premier League. So you're suddenly, Europe is almost like I said before, it's like a holiday for a couple of days away from all the stress of the Premier League. I think if Thomas can use that momentum and those wins in Europe they've had and finishing in the top 8 as a springboard to go on a win now, starting with Man City next, get a result, go from there, quiet the noise down, you know, have a good end to the window, I think he'll see out the season.
Man City, Manchester United, Newcastle United, Arsenal.
Next your Spurs.
League. What
you got four big clubs.
What do Tottenham need?
They need 6 points.
From a possible 12?
Yeah, they need 6 points. Okay. You win 2 of those 4 games, you've done well in Europe, it's a nice springboard. And he's getting players back from injury.
Yep,
so hopefully he gets the time.
Let's bring in a Spurs fan now, Chris Cowlin. And Chris, I know you were at the game last night. I hope you enjoyed it. Is anything going to change your mind on Thomas Frank?
Tom, Darragh, good morning to you. Absolutely delighted with the win, by the way. And I feel like Thomas Frank does deserve a lot of credit, particularly in the Champions League. A lot of people, a lot of Spurs fans even, wrote Thomas Frank off at the start of the season. We're bringing a manager with no European experience, and he's done extremely well. You think that, you know, Spurs have finished above the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG, but the Premier League form is not good enough. But in the Champions League, Thomas Frank does deserve a lot of credit. So, you know, let's wait to see what happens. As you guys have mentioned, those next 4 games, particularly in the Premier League, are very, very tough fixtures. And I'm so delighted and so pleased for Thomas Frank last night because it was a very, very different reception for him at the final whistle to what it was at Burnley at the weekend.
OK, I think the owners, sorry, I was just going to say, the prize money from going as well into the last 16 and qualifying the top 8, you know, Spurs have kind of washed their face in this window, what they've spent, what they've brought in. Those owners, and I've said many times I know them, they're my neighbours in Florida, need to back him before Monday. You know, they should give him a couple of signings, a couple of gifts to help with that squad to kick on for the second half of the season. You've got a new manager. He's got you to the last 16 of the Champions League. You've spent very little money when you look at what's been spent, brought in and out. Now back him.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Darragh. And I've said on this show many, many times about the board need to back the managers because we've kept going around in circles, you know, going through so many different managers, 6 permanent managers since moving in the new stadium.
Yeah.
It's also believed that we've just got about £42 million from finishing in the top 8 of the Champions League. So let's go out now, spend that money, back the manager and make the squad stronger for this Champions League, you know, last 16 and beyond if we get there. And, you know, we should not be sitting in 14th place in the Premier League. So, you know, Spurs should not be...
But do you think you are going to do that? Do you think they are going to give him money to spend?
They have to, Tom. They have to. I think that
100%.
You know a number of Spurs fans are deeply upset and frustrated the fact that we haven't gone out and showed real ambition. But you know, we all say the January transfer window is difficult. Sometimes I think it's more expensive, but the summer window for me is absolutely key. And I think where all of us will see where the ambition is with this football club, because you know the owners have said many times we want to be fighting on all fronts. And when you think, you know, it's all well and good us going through to the last 16 of the Champions League. You know, league position to the football club is very important. They sacked down Postecoglou. for winning the Europa League and finishing 17th. So, it's interesting what's going to happen next.
Well, Summer's been in touch. She says, shame Dara isn't our owner at Spurs. He speaks a lot of sense and has a no-nonsense attitude. There's a bit of praise for you, Dara.
Yeah, I haven't heard any praise for at least 5 minutes, so it's nice to get some.
Yeah. Christian, you said there about the summer. What actually needs to happen in the summer, OK? We know you want a couple of players between now and Monday evening, but what happens to happen in the summer, the whole club?
Well, I think it needs like a complete squad overhaul, if you like. I feel like we need quality injected into all positions. When you look at the bench last night, there were 6 academy players on the bench. We had a lot of players out. And again, Thomas Frank deserved credit for that, because we only had 12 outfield players for the last 2 Champions League games against 2 German sides where we've won both of them. But in the transfer window, a lot needs to happen. I expect a number of players to go out the door. But the trouble is for me, and I feel like a lot of Spurs fans feel the same here, whenever, and I'll go back to 2019 as well with Pochettino saying about the furniture in the mansion, whenever we've sold or offloaded a player of real quality, the player that we've brought in have been of less quality. We need to have upgrades in this squad. We need impact players, especially in the depth areas as well, when you need a player coming off the bench. That was a great thing last night, Dominic Solanke coming off the bench, and you need those impact players in big games like this.
Yeah, just looking at your bench there, that'll please Tim Sherwood. He's been saying that he wants Tottenham to, get their academy players more of a chance. A lot of them were on the bench there. Admittedly, only one of them came on. You talk about your next 4 Premier League games. They are very, very tough. How many points do you think you'll get? Darius thinks that 6 would be good. Man City, Manchester United, Newcastle, Arsenal.
Yeah, the home form hasn't been good enough. So
3 of them are at home, aren't they?
Yeah, 3 of them at home. So we've got to win some of these home games, and I just hope that Thomas Frank does turn this around. I love when managers prove people wrong, and did it last year. It'd be great to see Thomas Frank prove people wrong. And, I agree with Dara. We need a minimum of 6. More than 6 would be fantastic. But, they are 4 very, very tough games. Spurs need to be on it and give absolutely everything.
Yeah, we'll probably speak to you on Monday, Chris, and you'll probably be saying, Frank out, got to go right now. Is football fans.
No, Tom. We could be talking about a win. Come on, let's be positive now.
Hey, I said that yesterday. Jamie O'Hara laughed at me yesterday when I said that you'd do well in that run. But anyway, fingers crossed for you. Chris, thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Have a good day.
Coming next, we'll talk all things Newcastle United after their 1-1.